Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So, it is time for another video game related video today. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what is my favourite video game console and why it's my favourite. So, if you've been watching videos which I've been doing related to video games recently, you may have probably heard me mention my favourite console of all time in them at some points. And this is, of course, a video explaining why it is my favourite. And this console, of course, which is my all-time favourite, is, of course, none other than the PlayStation 3. So, when it comes, of course, to my experience playing the console then, so I first got the console last October, and I've been playing on it ever since, playing lots of games, and I have a big variety of games on it, because if you've been seeing what I've been getting every weekend, I've been getting lots of games for PS3, and I can definitely say very confidently that it's been an absolute blast when it comes to playing games, because I've played video games all my life, and I think this is probably, for me, the best time as a gamer when playing on a PS3, in my opinion, for lots of reasons. So, one is probably the reason simply being nostalgia, because the PS3, of course, first came out, of course, in the 2000s decade, and in my opinion, the 2000s decade up to the 2010s was, in my opinion, where video gaming was at its peak when it comes to gaming, because I personally think that game designers really cared about making a great game in that time period. They didn't care about it looking as realistic as possible or having the best graphics of all time and all that. They wanted us to have great games. And I think on PS3 especially, there's tons of it. For example, literally the first game I played on PS3 when testing it out wasn't my favourite game of all time, which I'm a daughter for on PS3. And playing it on PS3 was so much fun, like it always has been. And I played a variety of other games too. I think also PS3 has great exclusives on it as well, which have been lots of fun to play, which I've played on. For example, several of the games of God of War are exclusive to PS3. For example, I've played God of War Ascension and also the second volume of Origins Collection series. And they've been really fun to play. I've also as well played Killzone 2 and 3 on PS3 as well, and they're definitely, in my opinion, really fun shooting video games. And it's also really sad how those two games, in my opinion, are miles better than today's Call of Duty. But that's just so sad, in my opinion. But if you want a great shooter game for PS3, I definitely would recommend Killzone 2 and 3, because they're definitely really awesome shooter games. And there's tons of other games on it which are like multiple console, which I've played on. For example, Transformers games, which in my opinion are at their peak in the 2000s and early 2010s decade, which I played on. And I have a lot of happy memories. So, nostalgia is definitely really strong with PS3, in my opinion. And I think the exclusives, in my opinion, are also very strong as well, in my opinion, and definitely lots of fun and very appealing, in my opinion. And what I think is also awesome about PS3 is it was also the first PlayStation console to introduce trophies, of course. Because I think starting from like around the late 2000s, I think it was probably around 2009 onward, they began to introduce trophies to games. And I think it was definitely, in my opinion, a really amazing addition to the console, because it means when you play the games, you get a really awesome sense of achievement, because you feel like you're playing for something, really, and that's just, in my opinion, really satisfying to feel, really. And you feel like you get a nice reward for it. Like, there's maybe even several trophies I played which required lots of hard work to get to, like, for example, grinding or doing hard puzzles, and you get a reward for it, so it feels like it really pays off. So, I think by introducing the trophy concept to PlayStation consoles, PS3, in my opinion, is really awesome for that, absolutely. And another reason is also because the games on PS3, from what I've played, in my opinion, are not woke either, because I feel that since the late 2010s onward, video games have unfortunately been going woke, which really sucks. So, I feel very appalled by what video games have become lately, in my opinion, but on PS3, the games I've played, in my opinion, are not woke. In my opinion, they're great games, because they don't care about you know, having, of course, wokeness at all in them, and clearly, they want us to have a great game to play. Even with great story too, because what I will say is, even on PS3, the stories are great to play as well. And they have well-developed characters in them as well, which I definitely really loved. And especially in the exclusives I'm talking about as well, the characters in them are great as well. So, no wokeness and great games right there. And I also as well think that the layout of a console, in my opinion, is really simple for me to understand as well. Like, because it doesn't require much messing around with the system or anything like that. It's just there for you to play, really. And I definitely think that's really cool. And it's also all the first PlayStation console to have a shop on it where you can buy games on it, which is pretty cool. Sadly, however, of course, due to issues with PSN, you've got to like transfer money from your card, you know, onto a console, which is definitely a big pain to do, unfortunately. I've done it with my Vita, unfortunately, and it's the same with PS3, unfortunately, which is a big shame. Because sadly, of course, Sony stopped making games for PS3, of course, which is a big shame. Because I personally think, even to this day, the console is still going strong. I mean, because the fact that I'm playing it in this decade, the 2020s, is proof that the console is still relevant. I just wish Sony could realise that, because, in my opinion, the PS3 does not deserve to be forgotten at all, because it's got great games on it worth playing, even great exclusives like God of War and Killzone 2 and 3, and also Infamous games as well. Because the Infamous games, in my opinion, were absolutely awesome, the first two of them. Because I've also said on my ranking of those games that Infamous 2 is my favourite PlayStation 3 exclusive game of all time, because I think that game is, in my opinion, one of the greatest games of all time, which is definitely something I'd recommend if you want like a game involving powers on an open world. So I definitely really think PS3 for me is the greatest console of all time, you know, because no wokeness in the games, and with great exclusives which are very well memorable and appealing. It's easy for me to understand as well. And also as well, compared to other consoles where it can take ages to install games, PS3 is thankfully, of course, fast, because thankfully it doesn't take long at all to install them, because you just put the game in. It takes a bit of time to boot up, of course, but when it calms down eventually, you can play it. It takes about 5 minutes or so to calm down. But then if you, of course, connect to PSN, you've got to then, of course, like do updates and all that. But thankfully, compared to later consoles, they don't take that long, which is a relief. So what I appreciate is you can literally play the game within minutes, because the updates are fast and it doesn't take long to boot up. So you can literally play it right there. And it's been really fun going on memory lane, because I've played tons of games on PS3 and they've been really fun. And I can't wait to play more, because I've got lots more games that I've yet to play, and I can't wait to dig in. I'm very excited to do that. So I'm hoping, of course, to play even more, and I'm going to buy more games too as well if I can find them, and I'm going to have lots of fun. And I will, of course, definitely revisit older games too I've already completed as well, because just because I've completed them doesn't mean I can't go back to them. Like, that's one thing which is the beauty of games. You can always go back to them even if you've completed them. And that's something that I intend to do, because, in my opinion, especially PS3 games are definitely worth replaying, in my opinion, because they're so much fun. I mean, I can't even count the amount of times in my life I've replayed GTA 4, so, exactly. And having to play it on my favourite console was definitely, in my opinion, really awesome. My favourite game on my favourite console, just brilliant right there. Just what I need as a gamer. Just right there for me. So, I'm going to keep playing my PS3 for the rest of my life, and I really can't wait to. I'm very excited to play more of it. Can't wait. So, guys, this is me, of course, explaining why my favourite console of all time is the PlayStation 3. My opinion, the best console of all time. I absolutely love PS3. If you haven't got one, then I'd recommend you get one, because it's really awesome and definitely worth playing with lots of fun games on it. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to put in the comments what you guys think of PS3 or what's your favourite console, or your favourite console in the comments below. Also, be sure to join Team Prime Press and subscribe for the coming future, and I'll see you all later.